Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This is the 2021 County Election Forum. Appreciate all the candidates and everything pivoting quickly so that we could do this online rather than in person, unfortunately. And I thank everyone who's decided to join us, and I thank the people that have provided us with questions for these candidates. The first thing I would like to do is just recognize and do this quick land recognition. The St. Paul and District Chamber of Commerce respectfully acknowledges it is situated within Treaty 6 territory, the homeland of the Métis, Dene, Saulteaux, and Cree people, and part of a trading route and gathering place for other Indigenous nations. So we've talked to the candidates, and they will each be given a chance to make some opening remarks, and then we will jump into some questions. Quick note, Ed Miller is unfortunately unable to join us as he got delayed. He's en route in southern Alberta. And Louis Deschênes, unfortunately, he's obviously he's a farmer, and duty called, he's on a combine right now. So I'm sure lots of people who are watching can appreciate that that's an important thing. So as you can see, we have a full slate of our other candidates here, and we appreciate them. So with that, I am going to start with opening remarks. So Glenn, would you please provide us with your 3-minute opening remarks?
Absolutely. These are crazy times we are in. I'm looking forward to things getting back to normal. My name is Glenn Ackerman, and I want to be your Reeve for the County of St. Paul. I'm a third-generation farmer, rancher in the Firs and Flats community. My wife, Kathy, and I have been married for 32 years, and we have raised 5 children. It is growing to include a daughter-in-law, son-in-law, and a handsome grandson. I have been involved in the agriculture industry for 35 years and understand the value of hard work. The municipal involvement in the ag industry and its values to the municipality can't be forgotten. We need a strong voice and strong leadership, and I believe with my experience I can bring that to the municipality. I've interacted with the oil industry for the last 30 years, both as a contractor and a landowner, and know how valuable other industries and economic development in our municipality is. And we need to continue and encourage other development within the municipality. My membership to the local community hall has not lapsed in the last 30 years. The Firs and Flats Community Association is run by volunteers. I understand how important it is to keep our small communities viable. I also understand how important volunteers are to our communities and organizations. I appreciated those that volunteered to be leaders when I was a 4-H member, and those that coached me as a hockey player. I was happy to be able to lead 4-H members when my own children became part of 4-H program. Over the last 10 years, I have volunteered with the Second Chance Trail Ride Society to bring awareness to organ and tissue donation. I was elected county councillor for Division 1 of the County of St. Paul for 13 years. During that time, I was elected Deputy Reeve by my peers for several of those years. I was a member of many of those committees during that time. Some of those committees include Ag Service Board, Public Works, and FCSS. Over this period of time, I had the responsibility of chairing many of these meetings. The ratepayers of the County of St. Paul have a tough choice to make on October 18th. There is a slate of good candidates to choose from, and I look forward to working with any of you. A strong council is necessary for the county to operate efficiently and effectively. Working with council and finding common ground to make their best decisions for the municipality isn't always easy, but it's a challenge I'm willing to face head on. As Reeve, it is my responsibility to see that council's directions is followed through. Council is only as strong as the members that sit around the table. The next 4 years may have its challenges, but I look forward to addressing these potential challenges with council. Having a diverse set of experiences around the council table brings valuable knowledge and skills to council. I have the experience, the passion, and the ability to problem solve to move the County of St. Paul forward in a positive direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate that. I neglected to give a shout out to Jagger at iTech Solutions for hosting this. Thank you very much, Jagger, for all your work behind the scenes. Much appreciated. With that, Yvonne, please provide us with your opening remarks.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Yvonne Weinmeier. I am married to Danny Weinmeier. We live and work in the family farm between Lake and Ashmont. We have been married for 23 years, and together we have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. Our oldest daughter is married, and they have blessed us with 3 beautiful grandchildren, 2 boys and a girl. We enjoy spending time with family and friends, whether that be at social occasions, playing a multitude of sports, camping, or just being together. I've been employed in the insurance industry for over 28 years and have a passion for helping folks with their risk management needs and financial security. I have provided guidance and support with the financial risks that are associated with grain and livestock farming, as well as personal property and personal liability. I've collaborated with municipal, provincial, and federal departments to help create and sustain risk management policies and procedures, as well as provide training to employees and industry partners. I am a very passionate, organized person that analyzes every detail of the project that I commit to and ensuring that there are no stones left unturned. I always strive to seek a result that is most positive for the majority, and I strongly believe that knowledge is power, and I have vowed to never quit learning and to share my knowledge as often as possible. I'm excited and hopeful that the residents of the County of St. Paul will see my experience, accountability, and desire to succeed as the key to a prosperous and evolving future for the entire county and surrounding communities. I made the decision to run for Reeve as I have always had a passion to contribute to the prosperity of our community and surrounding area. I am a proven leader and have a strong desire to contribute to a collaborative group and oversee the positive future of the county. I strongly believe in open communication between everybody, ratepayers, council, county staff, the surrounding communities, and in order for that to happen, the council needs to be cohesive, collaborative, and willing to learn and listen, as well as act and or respond on behalf of the entire county. I can commit a significant amount of time to this role and do not take this responsibility lightly by any means. I intend to never quit educating myself and will encourage my peers to do the same. I will investigate issues and I will work with all stakeholders to create adequate resolutions. I realize that there will always be many challenges, and thanks to COVID, we're going to have many more to come. And also things such as financial constraints, responsibility, government restrictions, staff availability, and seasonal restrictions. But with a strong and accountable council, I believe that we can attain current and future goals within the county in a very productive manner. A few projects that I look forward to participate in investigating are recreation centers, attracting more businesses and professionals, rural internet, road maintenance protocol, organizational chart and accountability channels, training and performance measures and expectations, as well as committees for community involvement. So I just want to pass a quick word out there. I feel incredibly blessed to be able to have this opportunity and how wonderful it is to meet the residents of the county and have great conversations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Johnny Nielsen, you are up next, and then it'll be Janice.
Thank you. So I got to Canada 25 years ago from Denmark. I'm born and raised on a dairy farm in Denmark. Got my electrical ticket there, working around on agriculture all the time before I got over here. When I got over here, I started in a pig farm north of our point. Felt me welcome from day one. And later on, I recertified and got my master electrician certificate here in Alberta. I've been running my own company here for 22 years. Been member of a lot of local associations, including the fire department, volunteered there for 10 plus years, and have serviced the agriculture with my electrical knowledge and pull a couple of wires around there. Um, I'm very passionate about what happened around here. I think it's time for me to come out and give a little bit back of my knowledge and what I have gained of ideas and all that stuff. And that's why I'm trying to get involved in it on a little different ways. I do have quite a bit of experience in it. I'm past member of the provincial board for the electrical contractor association, and through there had a lot of discussion with municipalities affairs. So I've seen some there too. Past president of electrical on El Point Chamber of Commerce, so know what's going on. As I said, been in business for 22 plus years, and so I do feel I have a little bit of business experience too, that I can give that out to whatever and however we can use it in our future to get the county lifted up to even be better than it is already. One of the things I would like to see is that there's a little bit of too much red tape in the county office. We got to get that cleaned up a little bit. Try to maintain the roads we have, and maybe improve them a little bit, depending on what kind of amount of money we have left over when the budget is coming down. We know that the oil revenue have dropped substantially. And the agriculture is still the bread and butter for this county, so they need support too wherever they can be done. We have to find other industries to come in to replace the lacking oil industry. And I feel I can maybe give a little bit of knowledge away there too. I'm part of the local crime watch. I'm actually vice chair. One of the things there is that we have to reduce the crime.
Hey, Johnny, your time's up.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I didn't see the red mark.
Yes, please go ahead, Janice.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming out and attending this virtual forum. I do wish it could be in person, but unfortunately it can't. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Janice Vodchik, and I'm running in Division 3 for County Council. I was born and raised in St. Paul, and I've worked and lived here my entire life. In 1984, I married Mike Vodchik. Together we have 2 sons, Travis and Tyler, a wonderful daughter-in-law, Kennedy, and 2 really cute, smart grandchildren, Abigail and Henry. I'm a social worker by profession, and my work history is as follows: a frontline child welfare worker for approximately 10 years. Then I started my own consulting business that provided in-home support and family support to families that were in need. At the height of this business, I had 47 employees that worked for me. The highlight of my career was being selected to sit on the Provincial Child Welfare Appeal Panel, and shortly thereafter, I was appointed as vice chair. There are only 5 people in the province of Alberta that are chosen to sit on this panel, so you can well imagine the province provided me with extensive training. Some of it includes principles of good governance, understanding and interpreting legislation, administrative fairness, good decision-making, ethics, and effective chairing. That's just to name a few. That training has served me well on a daily basis, and I think it would be a huge asset as an elected official. Most recently, I have worked for the County of St. Paul and Oak Point FCSS as the director for just over 10 years. In the last 18 months, I wrote and received approximately $89,000 in grants, which provided our community members with much needed support. Roads are an important part of the county. Some of you may wonder what I could possibly know about roads. Well, I've lived with a road builder for 37 years. So on most road trips, I'm schooled on what's a good road, what's not a good road, and why. I'm very familiar with heavy equipment. I know the difference between a D3 cat or a D7 cat, and what's a traco and what's a backhoe. Oh, we already know moving forward, there's going to be there's not going to be the government funding available like there has been in previous years. Therefore, budgets are going to be tight. We need to continually review all of our departments to ensure that we are operating efficiently, continue to partner with our neighboring communities, and come up with strategic ways to address the budget shortfalls. Why am I running for county council? The short answer is that I have the desire to better my community at all levels, and together, people, we can make a difference. If I'm successful in this election, I commit to you, I am approachable, transparent, and accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Next up, I have Dale Hendrick, and after Dale will be Jim Kiss.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dale Hedrick. I've been born and raised here in the Ashmont area. Actually, the farm that I live on here, my great-grandfather homesteaded here in 1911, so I'm not going nowhere. I've been married for 15 years. My wife, Michelle, we have 4 kids. For years, I worked running heavy equipment. I worked for Graham Brothers Construction in Edmonton, and actually worked for the County of St. Paul running heavy equipment for a number of years as well. So I know what it is to build a road and what to look for, what we need. After that, I owned a very successful towing company for 11 years. The only reason I sold my towing company because when I was running for councillor last time, lots of the ratepayers were saying I wouldn't have enough time for the councillor job with the towing company. So I told them I would sell my pride and joy in my towing company if I got in, and that's what I did. I stuck to my word and I sold it. This last 4 years has been challenging, but I've worked with the ratepayers to get things done that they wanted. It was really tough with COVID, not being able to get out there and meet as many people and see as many people, but we still got it done. I'm very passionate for my community. I'm for it 100%. Like anything I can do to better my community, I do it. This last 4 years, I've really pushed to try and get rid of the MG30, the calcium that was being put in front of people's houses and stuff. And I'm more into the oiling people's dust controls in front of their places. And it's taken some time, but now this last year and a half in Public Works, I got them working with me, and we turned a corner, and we're working towards that more, and I'm very happy for that. It's what the people want, so that's what we're doing. Did some big projects the last 4 years. The Township Road 590, we totally redid it. Having a few issues with the surfacing on top. The chip seal that got put on, it was supposed to last, but it didn't. But we're going to work through that and get some oil on there in the next couple of years, and it's going to be one of the nicest roads in the county when we're done with it. As I've been on council, the different places where I've helped out, I've been on the MD Foundation for Seniors Housing, Riverland, Municor, that's with the Iron Horse Trail, Community Futures, on the Joint Fire Committee, and the St. Paul Rec Board. And like, I'm very passionate about the Iron Horse Trail as well. I love it. It runs right past my house here, and even at Abilene Junction, I had a boiler that originally was there. We had it put back there at Abilene Junction, and a nice gazebo put up there for people riding the trail. I look forward to hopefully working with everybody, and talk to everybody later.
Thanks, Dale.
Yep.
I misspoke, Jim. I have Wendy is next, and then Jim, and then Kevin. Go ahead.
Awesome. Good evening. I'm Wendy DeHod, and I'm a candidate for County Council in Division 6. My family and I reside in the Boyne Lake area, and for those of you that don't know, it's located north of Floating Stone Lake and south of Lecrae. My husband and I decided to return to the Boyne Lake area, where his family began as homesteaders. We wanted our lives and our family to also begin in this area. Together, my husband and I have built a home. We've become parents to a beautiful little girl, built a vegetable greenhouse, began a cow herd, and continued to farm several quarters of land. After spending over 20 years pursuing a career as an agricultural and bioresource engineer, I decided to step away from being a professional engineer in order to actively participate in my daughter's growth and development, become more active in my aging family, find some efficiencies in my greenhouse, and now and then help my husband with the farm. Over the course of my professional career, with various provincial ministries in Alberta and Saskatchewan, I have had the opportunity to develop skills in regulation review, the development of policy, and the establishment of procedures, protocols, and standards. I have chaired a number of multidisciplinary committees responsible for the design of policy implementation plans for the industrial, commercial, and agricultural sectors in Alberta. Considering the numerous projects currently being undertaken or that are to be undertaken within the County of St. Paul, I would like to share my experience and skills with the residents of the County of St. Paul, specifically Division 6. I am Wendy Dihad, and I am a candidate for councillor in Division 6. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Jim, and then Kevin, and then Mark.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the St. Paul Chamber of Commerce for allowing this forum to be put on. My name is Jim Kiss, and I'm running in Division 2 to be your representative as councillor. I was born and raised in the Stony Lake area on a farm that my Baba and Guido established back in 1926. My dad took over, and since that time, I was able to keep the farm in the family. I did move away for some 25 years to pursue higher education, and I had a career in politics on the support level to various ministers and such. Moved back here in 2015 and bought some cow-calf pairs, and in fact expanded in the spring here before everybody realized we were going to have a drought. And I married the love of my life in 2018, and we were just blessed here in June with a brand new baby girl. So I am a proud father, and very happy to welcome JC Kiss into the County of St. Paul, and very proud to have her be part of our life here. So I learned my politics early from the likes of John Drobit, when former Reeve and an MLA. He introduced me into provincial politics in the sense that I started working in the legislature on constituency issues early on in my career. I worked for various ministers of the Crown, ending up working for Premier Ralph Klein as his Deputy Chief of Staff up until 2004. Probably one of the best times in politics. From that, moved on, was a farmer's advocate for 7 years, and then moved into AFSC for about 4 years in senior management. With that, I came back here. I've been an insurance broker for 4 years, and I'm looking forward to representing Division 2 in the County of St. Paul. I think there is a strong need for staying in our lane, and I'll probably expand on that a little bit later in closing remarks. But we're going to have a difficult 4 years coming forth, and good management and strong fiscal principles are going to be needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Kevin, then Mark, then Carol.
Well, hello. I believe we live in God's country here in the County of St. Paul. I've yet to find a place I'd rather live and raise my family. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to listen and be your voice. I want to make a continue to make a difference. My roots run deep here in the county as we proudly celebrate 105 years on our homestead. I come from a family of 7 siblings, all which continue to live in the area. My wife and I, along with our 2 beautiful daughters, own and operate K-Cow Ranch on the south side of Stony Lake. As for my volunteer experience, I was a 4-H member for 9 years, and I'm looking forward to commencing my 15th year as a 4-H leader this fall. I have served on Farm Fair International Beef Committee, a chairman and beef representative for over 15 years. I was part of the REA Board of Directors of Elk Point for over 8 years. I have been an active member of Stony Lake Community Association for over 20 years and served as their president for many of those years. I'm very supportive of our community, as well as continue to be a strong volunteer and a big supporter of our nonprofit organizations. Here's a few of my passions I've developed over the past 4 years. I've become a strong advocate for our local library and is a big part of our community today. I'm an active supporter recreation facility funding. I believe they are the fundamental part of our community, supporting both physical and mental health. A strong supporter of our FCSS program. This program is imperative to our communities. Our community is rich with natural resources that should be enjoyed by all our taxpayers. While I believe our current council has done a great job, great work, I think there is room for some growth. I would like to see more consistent and regular road maintenance program. Today's regular maintenance will reduce major repairs in the future. I would like to see our ratepayers receive more value for their dollars. In short, I have experience in council and board settings. I work well with others. My line of communication is always open and looking forward to talking to you. I have an open mind for creativity and a synergy. I'm here to listen and be your voice for Division 2 Counselor. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Next up, we have Mark, and then Carol, and then Albert.
Hello. Hello, my name is Mark Marcoux. Former lifetime employee of the county, married 40 years to my wife, Margaret, and 2 children and a son-in-law who's helped me with my campaign. Raised on a farm, I've seen poor conditions and not the best of waste disposal. As time went by, conditions improved, and so did rural life. In the fall of 1980, I started as a gravel contractor, then worked as a laborer, spray truck operator, grader operator, welder, and an HD mechanic. Being employed with the county has enriched my life. It supported my ambitions, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Semi-retired in March of 2020, now I am seeking a seat in council to represent Division 3. As a member of council, I will serve my division and cooperate with council to improve the rural experience. When I ran the grader, I always thought of different things we could do for safety, improving grade slopes, back slopes, reducing dust, and cutting the tall grass. For this would improve vision and safety. Maintenance of roads is an essential part of rural life. As I've been driving around the neighborhood, most of the roads are in good conditions. My predecessors have done a good job, but much more needs to be done. As farmers and industry get bigger and heavier, we need to adapt to these challenges. Being a counselor is more than just roads. Also, there are many aspects of the job. I will cooperate with council, neighboring counties, towns, First Nations to improve life in urban and rural Alberta. In conclusion, I would ask the people of Division 3 to elect me on October 18th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Carol, then Albert, then Ross.
Good evening. Thanks for attending this evening. I'm Carol Reeves and I live out in the Alzey area. I'm running for St. Paul Division 5 Councillor. I will be a strong advocate on issues that are important to you. Safety and community engagement are imperative. My family has been part of the St. Paul and Ashmont community for over 60 years. I've heard many issues so far from residents that I can both identify with and concerned by. Some of these issues are as follows: road safety, costs, and the quality of construction are a concern for many residents. Township 590 costs ratepayers over $2 million with only 1 year guarantee from the contractor. We are now faced with large holes and crumbling roadsides and additional costs for repairs. This isn't good enough. Dust control used by the county needs to be reevaluated. Residents are telling me loud and clear that the use of magnesium chloride on roads does not come off of vehicles easily. Residents are concerned about the damage that will occur over time to their vehicles. The county needs to consider alternatives that are also cost effective. Residents would like to see more ditch side mowing and less use of spray for weed control. I will work with the CAO and county departments to ensure residents are getting a quality service provided to them every day of every year of the mandate, not just the last year before election. Finding ways to keep taxes low while balancing budgets will be a top priority for myself on council. I would propose a few options: serving the needs of the community with integrity and commitment, doing the right thing for the right reasons. Council remuneration rates increased after the last municipal election. Being fiscally responsible starts by setting an example. I would propose that we start here. Revisit methods to determine how roads are constructed, repaired, and maintained. Determining the best approach to keeping taxes low. With the impending provincial and federal funding cuts coming, it's even more important now than ever to work collaboratively together in order to balance budgets and to ensure services continue to our residents. I have over 25 years of experience in municipal government and the public education system, including working with the county over the last 3 years. This experience has given me a better understanding of how county operations work. A fiscally responsible and collaborative county is the name of the game here. Together, we will ensure services continue under increased fiscal pressures. Residents need to know that I will be working for them for the entire 4-year term,
Thank you,
not
Carol.
just in an election year.
Thank you, Carol. Albert, then Ross, and then Linda.
Let me first say thanks to the Chamber for sponsoring this forum. And as per Diane's instructions, she says, let the people know who you are. So here goes. Born and raised, farmed in the Lake Eliza area. I attended the Lake Eliza Country School, grades 1 to 8. I graduated from Wernham High School, attended the University of Alberta. I taught school in Elk Point. And although teaching and farming were my main occupations, they were not my only jobs. I worked in building construction in Calgary and Edmonton. I worked in the oil patch north of Swan Hills and southern Alberta. I was employed at the Swift's meat packing plant. I had the pleasure of working on an archaeological dig at the Fort George and Buckingham House east of Elk Point. I sold World Book Encyclopedia. I did some electrical work, wiring houses. I served as a membership chairman for the Elks of Canada. And I also served as 4-H leader, had an enjoyable time. Some of my most enriching and rewarding experiences were coaching high school sports and minor hockey teams. In my younger days, fastball was my passion. Today, I enjoy senior ice curling. Presently, I serve on the boards with the Hang in the 30s and the Centennial Senior Center. I'm also married to Janine, the former Janine Robinson, and I have raised 4 children and have proud grandpa to 12 grandchildren. Now, as significant as anyone's credentials may be, I feel that an open mind, a sense of humor, and common sense are equally important. I've been in the public arena for many years, and I am prepared as a team member to face the challenges that lie ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. Ross, you're up, and then Linda, you finally get your say.
Hey everyone at home. My name is Ross Krakowski. I'm running in Division 3. It's a bit of a funny format. You know, on the one hand, it's great to have forums like this. We can hold our would-be representatives accountable, ask questions of them, and importantly, ask questions of them in a really public way. You know, when we speak, debate, when we're asked to answer questions in public in front of a large audience, we have to say the same thing to everyone. And I think that's about information being open and available. It's about representatives being open and available. And I think that's a cornerstone of being accountable and sits at the heart of our democratic processes. On the other hand, I tend to kind of be the guy that likes to listen more than he talks. I don't like to toot my own horn. I mean, I grew up farming, did 4-H, I've done construction electrical work, I have a bachelor's, master's, PhD, I've worked in local government in rural Japan, taught in post-secondary in Singapore, I've done political advocacy and community work for many community organizations, farm with my family, run a small farm business, and I teach, do research, and run the master's program at Blue Coals. Many diverse experience, but you know, that said, there's one of me and thousands of you. Thousands of people living in our county, and yeah, you know, where I stand, what my priorities are, how I approach serving, sitting on council, these are important things. But at the end of the day, my vision and priorities in serving in government is incomplete without all of your voices informing me. We need an accountable and receptive council. And so with that said, I hope y'all are submitting good, difficult questions for me and for the other candidates. You probably know that I've been very vocal about the need to be accountable, about listening and working towards a more receptive council, that I'm about finding ways to do the work we do, especially with roads, better and more dollar efficiently, and absolutely about respecting your tax dollars, and continuing to move towards fair, open, accessible, data-based decision-making. You know, I've been vocal that we need collaboration between county, town, Elk Point, Horseshoe Bay, greater support and collaboration with community groups and businesses. And this leads to better planning, resource and cost sharing. And of course, we're just capable of more when we work together. I will say, you know, in a lot of ways, we're in unprecedented times with tremendous pressures on our municipal budgets. You know, it's been tough for small businesses, farmers, oil and gas, public sector workers, and there's also some tremendous opportunities here as well. But the environment that we're in now requires us to approach governance with fresh perspectives, broader strategic thinking, and at the same time with our eyes keenly on the community. I've been very vocal about this. I was blessed to grow up working and playing on the farm right next to where my great-grandparents farmed, close to land, to family, to community. I left and got some experience, but I came back and I look at my kids, Arlen and Karis. I want them to have that same kind of upbringing. And it's a bit selfish here, but I want our community to be the kind of place my kids want to stay in, or if they leave to get more experience and perspective, to return to. And so, you know, everything else aside, fundamentally, I think it's about family and community and helping this place that we all live in to be the best that it can for everyone. So again, Ross Krakowski, I'm running in Division 3, and thank you all for listening.
Great, thank you, Ross. And Linda.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Linda Meager, and I am excited to be running for Division 3 County Councilor. I was born and raised in the St. Vincent area, where I spent my childhood and early teens working on a dairy farm with my parents and siblings. My husband and I moved to Division 3 in the late 1980s, where we raised our 2 daughters and enjoy our grandchildren at that location. I've been employed with the County of St. Paul for the past 35 years, where I have gained a wealth of experience in municipal government. In those 35 years, I have worked in various positions, understanding many of the legislations and regulations, and I am well diverse with how the municipality runs, where it thrives, and where improvements can be made. In my career, I have sat as a clerk of the Assessment Review Board. I was part of the Cemetery Committee and a member of the asset management team, which is an ongoing and long-term process that helps council to make better and more responsible decisions on infrastructure needs. I have shared my knowledge by holding tax seminars, training internal staff, as well as providing my knowledge to other municipalities. I have worked very closely with the staff at the Public Works Department, assisting them with their yearly road project data and insurance that road registration, cancellation of old roads are due to realignment are completed in a timely manner. I have a vast knowledge of the county's GIS web map system and developed a user guide to help county residents utilize the system that is available to them. With this experience, I want to ensure we continue moving in a positive direction, providing levels of service that our residents expect in a fiscally responsible manner. We must become more innovative as we continue to deal with the reduction in municipal funding from the province without increasing taxes to our residents. I will fiercely advocate on behalf of the county to ensure that the provincial government does not continue to download programs to municipalities without any extra funding. I want to bring my knowledge and wealth of experience to the council room table, providing accountability, transparency, and open communication to my Division 3 residents and to the county as a whole. I am reliable, resourceful, and ready to be your voice. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Linda. So just before we go into questions, we're getting some feedback that we have a bit of a lag between our lips moving and when people are hearing. So I believe Jagger he wants to try something here. Jagger, are you there? Do you want to just let everyone know what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm here. The stream can't actually hear my voice, but I'll just restart the stream, and if they can refresh in 30 to 60 seconds, the stream will be back up. They just have to refresh their web page there. If you could repeat that off to the stream there.
Okay, so what Jagger's telling me is he's going to refresh the stream, and in about between 30 and 60 seconds, if everybody just hits the refresh button, we should all be back. So fingers crossed that I do this right and I show back up here. And ready, Jagger?
Yep, now.
Okay, here we go, everyone. Okay, so what Jagger's telling.
We should be live again.
Where's the refresh button?
Just on their web page. Unfortunately, won't be able to talk to them here now.
Okay. So we don't have to do anything. This is just for the viewers?
It's just for the viewers, yes.
Oh, my apologies.
They just refresh their web page. You guys don't have to do
Okay.
anything.
So hopefully our viewers heard that and they can refresh the web page. This will be posted. It's being recorded and will be posted in its entirety. And we will let people know exactly where that's going to be. Okay, so with that, we are going to jump into our first questions. Since they've had a bit of a break, the first questions directed at the Reeve candidates. So I'll give you each 2 minutes. And then anybody else who wants to jump in, we'll give you guys each a minute. What is your vision for the regional partnerships with neighboring municipalities that have been established? And how do you see that progressing if elected?
Do I go first or hold on?
Sure, I'll let you go first, Glenn.
Yeah. Yeah, great question there. You know, the world has been changing, especially in the last 20 years. Technology, we can share so many more resources. I think it's great that we work with our neighboring municipalities, different towns and what lay within our county. There's lots of savings. Sometimes we don't have to duplicate. And whenever we can share resources between one municipality to another, instead of going out and facing the whole cost on our own. And sometimes it's easier to take a little bit of experience from somebody else. They've been there, they've done it. You don't have to take it all, but you take parts of it and apply to your municipality. So I see it this here whole world, and as municipalities and the way the world changes, that you're going to see more of this working together. And I think we need to embrace it.
Thanks, Glenn. Yvonne?
Yes, thanks for the question. And yes, it's been a hot topic to me as well. I think open communication is number one thing. So whether that's within the county, within the council, within the actual county employees, or neighboring surrounding communities, I think we need to learn from each other. We need to communicate with each other and work together, learn from each other, move forward. There's a ton of things that we can learn from other people. Education is power, right? So let's learn what we can. Let's put it all together and see what's actually going to be best for our county. And yes, moving forward, we need to go back a little bit too and build relationships. And I mean, it's hard when we have these Zoom meetings. Like face to face is fabulous, but the new world ahead of us is a lot of this, right? So we need to just be open-minded and available to each other and to our stakeholders and be able to move forward. Is there an issue, Ross? Sorry.
Ross, I see you.
Hey, thanks, Brent. Yeah, I'm absolutely on the same page. I mean, you probably heard in my introduction that I'm all about collaboration, and I think absolutely, you know, town of St. Paul, county of St. Paul definitely could use more collaboration. We need larger, you know, intermunicipality frameworks as well, especially with Elk Point and Horseshoe Bay. I mean, a good example of this is fire service. You know, you have the county engines and the town engines, and they're sitting there and they have their own respective jurisdictions. But when there's a big fire, everybody comes out and helps out. And I think that's kind of a hint of what we could do. But I mean, it's not just that. It's like cost sharing, resource sharing. And again, as I say, you know, we're capable of so much more when we work together. We have more people invested in the process. And we're also able to tackle bigger projects. And so absolutely more collaboration is completely essential. And I think, you know, with greater pressures on municipal budgets, there's going to be more of a move to share costs and to share efficiencies.
Yep. Anyone else wish to jump in? Kevin, yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that, and Ross alluded to a lot of good stuff. Our ICF intermunicipality collaboration framework, the government had passed down to us, and as a group, we've collaborated with all our neighboring municipalities, and we've got a great working relationship with them at this point, and absolutely to work further on with them is essential to keeping our county fundamental. So thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Anyone else? Okay. Can't mute myself and ask the question at the same time. Next question. This is to all candidates, so we'll give anybody 2 minutes who wishes to weigh in on this. And I'm going to go in reverse order of the opening remarks for this one. So what budgeting and policy experience do you have that qualifies you to be on council? Linda?
Sorry. I think with my 35 years of experience, I hope that I can bring that qualified voice when we're discussing policies and ensure that everyone at the table understands the impact a change in policy could have moving forward. Does this policy impact in any, does it affect any other aspects within the county, for instance? And we must set realistic budget expectations and should always allow for a small percentage of a contingency plan. Because as we all know, things come up that are out of our control, and we must have that extra money so we can continue to have that balanced budget at the end of the year. Because it's very easy for us to go over very quickly, and we have to keep those reins back and ensure that we're not spending our residents' money where we shouldn't be. We have to allow for everybody to make sure that they are doing their proper jobs and setting in their expectations at strategic planning. So when budget comes, the budget will be fine. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Ross, did you want to weigh in?
Yeah, thanks, Linda, and thanks, Brent. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess, you know, you can talk about experience. I was raised on a farm, and I guess, you know, being raised on a farm, you know how to make, you got to get the every last bit. You got to leverage tight resources for what you can do. I mean, aside from that, aside from farming, you know, we operate a small business, farm business, and I run a chronically underfunded graduate program at Blue Quills, and I've overseen it growing quite a bit. But aside from that, I think like we've all been alluding to this idea of the budget facing unprecedented pressures, and it's very, very true, and it's a really serious issue. Like we need broad strategic thinking on how we're going to get through this. And you know, as you may know or may not, I'm not sure. The province is downloading costs for example, policing. They're cutting funds to municipalities. Our public works budget is going up. Our tax base is going down. And so this is going to lead to some really, really tough choices, and we're going to need to find efficiencies. I believe we can do it. I think there's ways to find efficiencies, especially in public works. We can make, we can do just as good a job as we are for the same money. I don't want to raise taxes. And I think that strategic thinking and that long-term planning is really necessary so that we avoid a situation where we're kind of caught without a plan. And then how do we cover the budget? Well, you know, you have to look ahead so you're not forced to raise taxes. And so, yeah, budget is absolutely a huge issue.
Thanks, Ross. Albert?
Yes, my experience as budgeting might be limited compared to some people. However, as Ross had alluded, living on a farm and operating a farm, it's very necessary to be budget conscious. I've been on the Elks of Canada membership committee. We had budgets to deal with. I'm with Haying in the 30s. We're constantly talking budget with the Centennial Center. Likewise. But anyway, I'm prepared to do some learning and contribution to the process.
Thank you, Albert. Carol.
Sorry, I have a quick mouse there. My job with the county is finance technician, which is involved in payroll and human resources. Being involved in providing detailed payroll budget financial information to directors has given me a greater understanding of what is involved in the budget process to determine salary and wages.
Thanks, Carol. Mark, any comment?
Yes, I'd like to talk about budget-wise. Like when I worked in the shop, we always used to June, July. Oh, your budget's just about out. and talk about budgets when it comes to talk about repairing equipment. When you get a bill from Finning or whoever, they don't really know or care about your budget. The price of this stuff keeps going up constantly. Like, we have to keep the municipality running. We have to find funds and we have to do the job. And that's all there is to it. I've worked in all kinds of conditions where there's no budget, where there's too much money, where there's oil money, and it's always worked out in the end. No one has a crystal ball and no one knows if it's going to be that bad.
Thanks, Mark. Kevin, any comment?
Yeah, well put, Mark. I just want to say, you know, we come up with a plan and we come up with a strategic plan. And the hardest part about a plan is sticking to that plan. And that sets our budget. And if we can stay within our plan, we'll always come out at the other end. Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. Jim?
Thank you. In terms of budgeting, I was part of, as I said, the Klein era when the last time this province actually had a balanced budget, and we were able to eliminate deficit and eliminate debt. That was a different time. Now we've seen explosion of various expenditures and budgeting. One of the things at a municipal level that I think we must very, very carefully consider is, what is our role as the municipality? There are core services that every level should be responsible for, and we must stay in our lane, meaning that focus on those core services done the most efficiently by whatever level is what is required to stay on course and to respect you, the ratepayer, who's ultimately picking up the tab for this. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Wendy?
Hello. So I've actually had a significant amount of experience working in policy development and establishing some of the underlying documents that also go along with that. So I'm very excited to work in that area. And I honestly believe that policy and budgeting go hand in hand. When you set policies that outline a clear expectation of equality of everyone, your budget can follow in line. So when everyone knows this is how roads are built, or this is how we develop, this is how we take care of municipal halls, that allows for equal development and equal opportunity across. So I've had a lot of experience, and I think that that we can continue to pursue that.
Man, sorry, lost my mute button for a minute there. Dale, any comment?
Yeah, you betcha. I know lots about budgeting. I had my business for 10, 11 years, and we had to budget all the time. And it's the same as the county. You don't know when you're going to have the breakdowns and stuff like that in the public works shop there. Like, we never know. We just had a motor blow in a packer the other day, and that was all unexpected in public works. And as far as trying to save some money, like I'm a true believer, you don't need everything brand new. So last year we actually bought a used Traco, and it's been working out pretty darn good at the county, and a couple of used packers. And yeah, and as far as the saving money on roads, I'm more about maintaining the roads that we have, getting them up into good quality, than building more roads. So like I'm looking at building less roads and just maintaining the ones we got, getting them fixed up. Thanks.
Thanks, Dale. Janice?
Hi there. I'm going to talk about budgeting. So for my consulting business, some of my contracts were well over $500,000. So I know about budgeting. I know what it takes to make $1. And in fact, I used to do my own payroll. Today, I still do the budget for FCSS. And for my business, I wrote binder after binder of policy and procedures manuals because you had to meet and pass and be certified by the Alberta government in order to do that. And so, yeah, I feel very comfortable in both of those.
Thanks, Janice. Johnny?
I guess I should unmute first before I. So yeah, as a business owner for 22 plus years, I do have a little bit of experience in the economy. And yeah, we have to set up a budget every year, and sometimes that budget get lowered when something unexpected happen. That's a part of to do business days where I can feel I can bring something into to the we got to cut some of the bureaucracy in the county office 2 days. Seems like too many people they have to have a touch on it before we get moving on. Another thing is that the county can support the 2 town municipalities with the healthcare system. We need to get more healthcare system out to St. Paul and North Point, and the county have to be a part of that too. And not less, but balanced budget is always a good thing to have. Thanks.
Thanks, Johnny. Yvonne?
Thanks. So I do have a fair amount of finance experience. As I mentioned earlier, I've been into financial and risk management as well as life and disability insurance. Of course, these are on personal levels. I had a mutual fund license for a few years. I supported personal budgets and helping folks balance their budgets so that they could move ahead and be doing some and making sure that they're insured and that they have some savings for the future. I've done bookkeeping for several businesses. By no means am I an accountant, no, but I do have a passion for numbers, and so it's just always come easily for me. I strongly believe that whether it's a personal issue or if it's going to the county, to provincial, to federally, whatever, doesn't matter what level you are, we need to live and spend within our limits. We need to set those limits and we need to live within them. Yes, we need to plan for contingencies because we all know that everything's getting more expensive and the income's going to be less, and we have a lot of really difficult conversations regarding budgets coming into the very near future. And it's going to be difficult, but I think I've got what it takes to contribute to it. So thanks.
Okay, and Glenn, do you have any comment?
Yeah, just a quick one there. If I recall the question, it was what experience having budgeting and policy. Like I said, I was on county council for 13 years before, always very involved in the budgeting practice and that. I enjoyed that time of year. Some people feared it. It was great. I'm always looking to stretch our dollar a little bit farther, get good value for our dollar. I think that's good budgeting, and if we can follow that. And you know what, good policy within governance is huge. It makes the job of governance a lot easier when you have good policy, and I think there's lots of expertise around the table to help shape that, and I think it's very doable. So that was my experience. I sat on the policy committee, and I look forward to doing it again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. So a question that's on a lot of people's minds, and I'll forewarn you, it involves roads. I've heard that brought up a few times already. And this question is kind of a two-parter, I guess. Should large construction projects, i.e. building more than 1 mile of road, be done by the county or private enterprise? And does it make sense to tie up our road building crew for an entire summer on a small stretch of road? And I will go through, I'm going to kind of try to randomize my list a little bit here. I'll start with Carol. Would you care to comment on that?
Yes. You really need to look at whether we do have all of that equipment now. So we might as well make use of it, especially for a 1 mile of a construction project. It's different, I guess, if you're taking the 590, for instance, the township road, because it is such a long stretch, and we just don't have the manpower in order to complete this whole project during a season. So for 1 mile of construction, with the amount of equipment that the county has, they should be able to handle this efficiently. But I suppose you could look at the cost as well too, and what is a contracted job. But then if we go back and look at what happened on 590, and that was a contracted job, and what's going on. So we need to look at the value of it as well, what we're getting and the quality.
Thanks, Carol. I'll go to Albert next.
Well, I think, I don't think there's a definitive answer for either. We have to look at each project as a unit. The costing has to be done. And also,
Albert, just lean into your microphone just a little bit.
as I said, each project should be taken at its own merit. There are times where maybe we should, I would suggest we get outside contractors. If the county has all the equipment already and we can do it at a cost-effective deal, and as far as time goes as well, I think it's something that has to be worked out as we go along. Look at the project. Does it have to be rebuilt? What's the base of the road? Was it corduroyed with wood and black dirt before? There's all kinds of issues that to be considered. In short, that's my answer.
Thanks, Albert. Ross.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Brent. Ross Krakowski, Division 3. Yeah, large construction projects to be done by county or by private enterprise. I kind of like what Albert says. You have to look at the entire system. You have to decide each project on its own merit. Look, I mean, it's a balance. On the one hand, we want to support small business. We don't want county to outcompete small businesses. On the other hand, we really do need to maximize tax dollar efficiency. It's all about respect for tax dollars, getting the job done well and getting it done for minimal cost and supporting small business at the same time. We need to look at the entire picture. I think one possibility that people haven't mentioned yet is that some municipalities, especially larger ones, they do put large projects, large construction projects to public bid. And then the municipality keeps private companies honest. And so if there's some collusion amongst private enterprises and the public bid gets really, really high, then, the municipality can step in and say, hey, this is there's quite a bit of profit here. We can probably do a little bit cheaper. It's not about undercutting private enterprise, but it's about, finding that right balance, I think is really important. And it's always a balancing act, so.
Thanks, Ross. Linda?
Hi, thank you. Linda Meager, Division 3. I pretty much agree with kind of a little bit of what everybody was saying, but I think if we've got the equipment and we can build it for cheaper, right now, I think that's kind of the norm that we've been taking and stuff. And I know the county is going towards a risk assessment on the roads. So we're going to be taking more of a look onto what that road is like based on quite a few different scientific components and stuff. So the roads will be kind of looked at a little bit more logically and stuff. And I think that will help with where we're going to go and how many miles we would be building of roads. So like I said, I think right now, because we have the equipment, we can build it for cheaper right now. Whether or not we decide to go the other way, I think it would be something that council would have to decide as a whole, whether or not because I know there is some municipalities that do have, it's all privatized and stuff, and it would be something that the county as a whole would have to look at for sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Glenn?
Yeah, great question. You know what? We come back to the age-old question. I guess it was the question asked, should the county You know, should we run our own equipment or should it all be contracted? You know, give you a little history, what I remember. When we were at the county years ago, when Alberta's economy was on fire in oil field, you couldn't get men, you couldn't get equipment, and you know, there wasn't much value for your dollar sometimes getting a contractor. I think we're in a total different world today. I know even in the past, you know, one time we contracted or crush and gravel out, and then we crushed it ourselves when we thought there was value. I think those numbers, I think it's evolving all the time. We got to look at the numbers. The numbers are going to dictate whether we can do it or a contractor can do it. And like I said, sometimes we need to do it. Might be a little bit more expensive, but you know what? Our ratepayers want a little more care, or we maybe address those concerns a little bit better sometimes in the smaller projects. But like I say, I think, you know, there's lots of people around. We can run the numbers, and that's going to dictate lots. I think in the future, there's some pretty good value to hiring stuff out there now, and I think any council is always looking at them throughout the year and just not at budgeting. So thank you.
Okay, Yvonne?
I'm kind of torn on this one too, guys. It seems like we're all kind of on the same page here. It depends on the situation, right? So yes, I think there's some jobs that should be contracted out, and you know, we don't have the correct all of the equipment that we need, or the you know the correct planning that we need to make that road efficient, and not be able to get it done in a timely manner. So yeah, there might be some times where we might want to hire some stuff out, but at the same time, we want our county to prosper. We want our folks to stay home and work at home and support our county and our communities. And so yeah, we need to keep some of it together at home too, right? We have we have the equipment to do it. We need to plan it, review it, educate ourselves with, you know, what is feasible, what is worth going to do with our county, and what is the best value for our bus, right? So planning ahead, we're getting better at making the road. We're getting there. I think there's definitely one of the biggest topics of concern while I'm out chatting with folks is number one is the road, right? So let's maybe do some more financially reasonable things like maintenance and get a little bit better at that. And maybe not the big stuff, but yeah, I'm still torn on it. A little bit of both, I think. Thanks.
Thanks, Yvonne. Johnny, any comment?
Okay, first of all, we maybe have to spend a little bit of money on to get some proper consultant. So when we decide to do a road construction, we have somebody to know what they're doing, so we don't have to come back and fix it again. The same apply to roads. There is fixed by private companies. They have to be some kind of an accountability. So if they don't do the job proper, there will be a holdback. This is how the private industry is working right now. When I go out and bid on an electrical job, I better do the job right or I don't get paid. And that's what should apply to either the county's own road construction or whoever is going to do the job. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. Janice?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure can. Should large construction projects, i.e. building more than 1 mile of road, be done by the county or private enterprise? And does it make sense to tie up our road crew on a single stretch of road all summer?
Well, here's the deal. So large construction, you know, historically, the county has the equipment. They've been building the roads for many, many years. So would it make sense for us not to build roads when we have all of this equipment? Probably not. But are we getting the biggest bang for our buck by having all of this equipment? So I think what really needs to happen is that we have to assess really, really seriously what it actually costs for this equipment, what it costs for the benefits, the staffing, the everything, versus contracting it out. I don't believe that the county should be taking anything that private industry can provide other than roads, because that's what we've done for years. Is that the most cost-effective way? I don't know. I'd like to see the numbers.
Thanks, Janice. Dale, any comment?
Yeah. you know, it's just like everybody else. There's a time and place for everything. Every road is different. I know it's been frustrating, that road just outside of St. Paul. I'm pretty sure that's the one they're talking about, Township 582. It's only a mile of road, but there was a pile of dirt to be moved there. That whole road had to be cut right down. There was trees in that road that were buried. It was all black dirt. All that stuff had to be cut, taken out. We did get quotes on how much it was for private industry to do that road. And Dan ran the numbers and we ran the numbers, and it was cheaper for the county to do it. Yes, if we would have got private industry, it would have been done a lot sooner, because they would have came in with way more equipment and got it done sooner. But in the end, it would have costed us more money to do it. When it comes to Township Road 590 that we did put out for tender, CarMax came in, they did it. Yes, we've had some issues with the chip seal on top, but the base underneath is awesome. It's good. Once we get some oil on top of it now, we're going to have a really nice road there. I still stand behind Township 590. I think it's a great road. The chip seal didn't hold up. We were told it would when it was tendered out, and it didn't. And we're actually in talks with getting some money back from them for warranty on that as we speak still. So thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Wendy?
With respect to the county building large roads, I actually say no. I don't think the county should be involved in large significant projects that compete with private industry in our areas. But I think there also needs to be some scientific evaluation of the size of that project to maybe put a definition around the term large project. Because here in Division 6, we see a lot of county equipment in the southern area, and then there's no time to deal with some of the muskeg issues that we have up here. So in terms of tying up county equipment or power in large projects, I think we need to factor in whether or not we can actually get things done to meet the needs of the entire county, and whether we can move that equipment up to all of the locations and satisfy all of the projects proposed in that budget year. Pardon me. And I also think we need to factor in associated activities within the area. So I know up here in Division 6, we share boundaries with Lac La Biche, Smoky Lake, and Bonnyville. So maybe there's an opportunity for us to partner with them rather than look at building our own large projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. Jim?
Thank you. Fundamentally, I'm a small c fiscal conservative, meaning that I believe governments are in place to collectively provide services and benefits that individuals or the private sector can't provide realistically or with good fiscal responsibility. So when it comes to something like road construction, I think there is generally the ability to have the private sector compete and get the most efficient price for that type of build. That comes to then say, to date, the county has amassed a capability to build. Should that be looked at in the future? Definitely. Main message is how do we get our best bang for the buck for you, the ratepayer, in ensuring that the roads are built most efficiently. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Kevin?
Yeah, there's a lot of good points that were brought up here tonight. And I guess in my opinion here is, you know, we're on a timeline. There's a bunch of projects that are brought forward throughout the year. We put a date on it and how long these projects are going to last. And then, you know, we always consider the bottom line is the best deal for the taxpayers, whether we're doing it contract or we're doing it ourselves, but we're always weighing those decisions back and forth. And I strongly believe we do get our best dollar for our miles that we do.
Sorry, Mark, any final words?
Yes, I've seen this like too many times, over and over again. There's always contractors wanting to step in. Neighboring MDs and counties have done this, and they've went back to purchasing their own equipment. The County of St. Paul has infrastructure set up for this equipment, and this work, when it is completed and there's reserves, it goes back into the system. I'm surprised nobody has mentioned this yet. When a contractor does a job, he takes his money and away he goes. And furthermore, are there still contractors out there to do this kind of work? With the economy, these guys are going broke, left, right, and center. I still think there's some jurisdictions that have a dozen buggies, and we only have 4. Like, I think we can do a better job on this. And another thing we have to look at, 20, 30 years ago, we used to push through a mile a week. We just bang, push it through. No engineers, hardly no surveying, nothing. Now we've got bird studies, we've got surveying. Everything has to be done, engineering, the works. So I don't know, you tell me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Next question. This is again to all candidates. If elected and council meetings go back to in person, will you support the live streaming of all future council meetings? I will start this time with Jim.
Okay, so let me just ensure I understand the question. If we're back to full in-person council meetings, should they be live streamed at the same time? Is that the question?
I believe that's what this person is asking. Yeah, I think they're looking for similar to the way town council in St. Paul runs. So you can watch the council meeting live.
Okay. I think definitely I support open accountability and transparency. So for that type of discussion on issues and policy, absolutely, I believe it should be. I do understand there are certain items, whether it comes to HR matters or discussions of CEO compensation or something of that, or CAO compensation or something of that nature, that needs to be in camera, and then the results reported afterwards as soon as possible. So that's how I would I'd answer that question.
Thanks, Jim. Wendy?
Oh yeah, I completely support live streaming of meetings as they're occurring. Just as Jim mentioned, there are some things that need to be kept in camera, just kind of as a side note, but true accountability and transparency are extremely important. And I don't think that should change when COVID lifts to the pre-conditions. Thanks.
Thank you, Dale.
Yeah, I believe there's no reason why we couldn't live stream. That way there's a bigger audience to see. I know in the 4 years I've been counselor, there's only like a handful of people that have ever came to watch a council meeting, but since we have live stream, there has been more people watch it. So yeah, I'd be in favor 100% for that. Thanks.
Thanks, Dale. Janice?
Yes, 100%. But I think what the question is really asking is after, if we're not, like it's streaming live, but also putting it on a platform after, whether that be on YouTube or whatever, so that people can watch it when they get home from work or whatever. And that's what creates true transparency and accountability. So yes, I 100% think that that's what should happen. And you know what, maybe they only stay up for a year. I don't know. I mean, there's stuff I don't know. But I think it's necessary and it's a great idea. So it's not just live streaming the meetings, but it's videoing them like we are tonight, and it's going to be played on whatever platform whoever decides that.
Thanks, Janice. Johnny?
I can only say yes. Open it up, let everybody hear what we say and what we do. And there will be something that have to be in camera. The town of Royal Point have done it for a year now, and they have run into a couple of headaches with it. It require a little bit of nicer tone at the meeting too. Thanks.
Thanks, Johnny. Yvonne?
I 100% support it, and I'm even more so with Janice's comment that it needs to be found somewhere for folks that want to look into them later, or they can't be there to watch them live stream, then having it saved to some type of platform afterwards to view. Absolutely agree. My big thing is communication, right? So we are accountable to the ratepayers, so they should hear what's going on within our council. I agree. And yes, some things need to be in camera for sure. So it is.
Thanks, Yvonne. Glenn?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything, I think it's great. It's a great way to maybe involve our ratepayers a little bit more, keep in tune with what we're doing and what direction we're going. So yeah, I think it's a positive move in that. So it's fairly simple and straightforward with that for sure.
Thank you. Linda?
I think I agree with the consensus. I think being transparent is how we earn trust from our residents. And as said before, I believe it should be set out on a platform that people have the ability to watch it later, because not everybody can watch it during the daytime when people are working. So totally agree. We need to keep transparency. So let's live stream for sure.
Thanks, Linda. Ross?
Hey, Ross Krakowski, Division 3. So the question, I guess, is if elected and council meetings go back in person, do you support live streaming? I don't know, I feel a bit shy when I see myself on video. So no, I'm just joking, absolutely 100%. I've been advocating this for a very, very long time, and I will absolutely push towards more accessible council meetings. I think we also need to look at when council meetings are being held. Often people might want to attend them in person, and general meetings are weekday mornings. A lot of people are working and aren't able to attend, and I think that's something that can also get looked at. We should also have fewer meetings that are in camera or invisible to the public. But yeah, absolutely, more transparency, more accessible information, easy to access on the website. I know right now they are live streamed, but the process for actually finding it is very, very difficult. And so that could be clearer too. And meetings should not only be live streamed, they should be archived. You should be able to go to a YouTube channel or wherever and find previous meetings. All about accessibility of information. It's just such an important part of the democratic process, and it keeps everybody accountable. 100%, right?
Thanks, Ross. Albert?
Speakers have echoed my sentiments. I agree with the previous speakers. Thanks.
Thanks, Albert. Carol?
Absolutely 100% for live streaming of council meetings. Being on council is about being transparent to ratepayers. So yes, all for it. So more information goes out to ratepayers. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Mark?
Yeah, I guess I agree with it too. But there's always other media sources that show minutes of the meetings. And this thing I noticed over the years during the annual financial statement, sometimes two people show up. So is there really a level of interest for this? This is what I asked, but no, I haven't a problem with meetings being live streamed. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. And Kevin.
Yeah, good day or evening. 100%, yes, totally agree with being transparent to both live and in person. So opening the doors to the public. I would also like to implement 1 or 2 hours per month that ratepayers can come in unscheduled time and spill their beans. Whatever they like to bring up, we schedule that in and deal with it that day. So that's my thoughts there. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, my next question here is, what is everybody's take on the fact that there are so many county workers running for council this year? I will start with Kevin this time.
Well, I guess that puts me on the spot being the first one out. You know what? All I can say is that they have an understanding of the inside track of what the county does and the work that we perform. So they got a great knowledge. I can't deny that. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Mark?
Yeah, being a county employee myself, this is the county has let me do everything from being a laborer right up to being a heavy duty technician doing CVIPs on fire trucks and everything else. Like, I care about the county. I bleed the county, and this is where I want to end my career. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Carol?
I can't speak for everyone else. My employment with the county has provided me with a better understanding of how county operations work. In my position over the last 3 years with the county, I've had to follow policy to detail and have upheld confidentiality on all levels. I'm a firm believer in following policy. This way, there are no gray areas surrounding decisions that are not in policy. Follow the policy, and then you have everyone following the same rules. No double standards. Since council's role involves setting policy and objectives and does not involve the day-to-day operations of the county, I foresee no reason why county employees should not be considered as an elected official. Thank you.
Thanks, Ross.
Yeah, Ross Krakowski, Division 3. Well, in a way, I think it's kind of a bit of a two-part question. It's a really interesting question for sure. You know, county office doesn't employ 60% of the people in the division, but you know, in Division 3, 60% of the candidates are county employees or former employees. On the why part, I can't really speculate. I'm not a county employee. I'm sure county staffers are running for county council because they want what's best for the community, and I absolutely respect that. I guess inside the question, though, there's the implicit question of whether this is good, whether this is desirable. What does this say, right? I absolutely believe that we need more people from more diverse backgrounds and experiences to run. Diverse perspectives and experiences, you know, make our planning better. It just makes us stronger. And as I said in my introduction, you know, I think that we are in unprecedented times, both in, you know, globally, nationally, locally, in terms of our budgets, in terms of the way the economy is. And we can't really keep doing things in the same way. And so I think right now, especially more than ever, that vision, big picture thinking, fresh perspectives are absolutely necessary. And in my division, of course, I think I'm the one to provide that, but I also think people will decide.
Thanks, Ross. Linda?
Well, I'm one of those county employees running for council. So I've been working for the county for 35 years and I love my job all the time, love the people I work with. And you know what, I do want what's the best for the county and stuff. And I think that experience and knowledge that I can bring to the council room table will just help everybody. And this way there won't be such a long transition as to what will have to happen for everybody to gain that knowledge. And I'm hoping that I can share that knowledge to any of the new counselors and stuff, because like I said, I'm here to help the county and help the county move forward and hopefully be that voice for my residents of Division 3. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Glenn? Oh, you're muted, Glenn.
There, how's that? There, I think the question was, what I think of so many, or why so many county employees run? It's a pretty simple answer for me. It's they wanted to make it a better place. You know what? They're passionate about the county. It's great. Shows you what good employees County St. Paul has had and come along, and they just wanted, this is the next step in progression. They just want to move along forward. So I think it's great to see all the interest from them. Thank you.
It's Glenn. Yvonne?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think we're coming in, we've got a wealth of knowledge at the table here and a lot of experience, a lot of years of experience. And yeah, I don't doubt that there's probably some things that folks are wanting to change, and that's okay. You know, change is never a bad thing. But yeah, I think a lot of it is passion for the county and wanting to move forward and become a better county. And as a whole, the whole county as a whole, getting better and collaborative. Communicating. That's what I think.
Thanks, Yvonne. Johnny?
It's a free country we're living in, so everybody that want to get involved in it and help out should be allowed to do that. It don't matter what they're doing, where they are, and how they are.
Thanks, Johnny. Janice?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. I think that, you know what, we're all ratepayers. We have a desire to better our community. Is there an underlying tone to this question? Probably. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't even know how to answer that.
Okay, thanks, Dale.
I think it's kind of a two-part question for me. Number one, I know they all care about the county, and number two, like with three of them running in the same division, Division 3, I think the reason for that is timing. The outgoing councillor, Cliff Martin, he's been there for a very long time. He was very well respected, and he retired, and employees seen an opening there for them to contribute as counselors. So I believe that's why they were running. Thanks.
Wendy?
I actually take no quarrel with the number of county employees that are running in the election. I feel that county administration is more task orientated in their capacity. And so if they have become aware of pinch points or an issue, then I think it's absolutely awesome that they're running for council and being able to provide that overarching direction to the greater mass. I don't have an issue with it at all. Thank you.
Okay, and lastly, this time, Jim?
Hey, I say welcome. Good on you. It takes a lot of courage to put your name forward, to go before your division and your ratepayers, ask for their support, make your promises or your commitments to how you would conduct yourself and what you bring to the table. So more power to anybody who steps up and puts their name forward for an elected position. I think it's great that everybody gets out there and expresses their views and opinions and seeks the support of their ratepayers.
You missed me, Brent. If I can pitch in here, there are certain conditions that candidates have to meet in order to run for office. If they fulfill those obligations, more power to them. I'm full agreement with that. Thank you.
Sorry, my apologies, Albert.
No problem, no problem.
Okay, this next question is directed at the Reeve candidates. And then we'll give everyone a chance to weigh in because I'm going to try to, there's been a number of questions about this. So I'm going to try to boil it down a little bit. What is your stance on mandatory COVID vaccinations for county employees? Are you in favor of the masking requirements? How would you have handled things differently? I'm going to start with Yvonne this time.
Good question. COVID is going to be an obstacle in our life for a long time. I have, from the beginning of all of this, I have vowed to be as open and as vulnerable as what I can be. And that's what I expect from other folks as well. So it doesn't matter if it's a personal relationship or a professional relationship. I want people to make what's the decision that's right for them. And not all people believe in it, and not everybody wants the vaccination, and not. I think everybody has that right of choice, and being respectful and being safe, and the masking, yes, sanitizing, yes, being as safe as you can, and socially distancing. That's my perspective of it, and I think personal opinions have to come into play here. And I don't think we're in a situation where we should be mandating what our county residents are required.
Okay, thank you. Glenn?
Yeah, great question. You know what? Like I say, COVID's been here. It seems like we're living with it and not. There's so much information coming out all the time. If I was County Reeve, you know what? I think there's so many more people out there with the expertise in science, in medical, who can make a better decision than we. What I like to see as a province bring some balance to it, so we're all treated the same. I think it needs to come from the province down. Nowhere in the Municipal Government Act does it show that the county is responsible for health, and that. And I think the provincial government is actually the one responsible for it. So I respect what's legislated, and that's the direction I would take. Thank you. And like I say, sorry, just one more thing. You know what? As Reeve, sure, that's what it is. But there'll be 6 councillors. There's 6 councillors out there. We'll be sitting there and a Reeve. You know what? It may not be the Reeve's opinion, but if we're in a democracy, and if whatever council chooses, that's what I would respect too. So thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. Johnny?
I was hoping you would just let the Reeves candidates answer that, but anyhow, I'm vaccinated myself. That's my personally. Whatever people want to do, it's up to them. I do say that, agree with Glenn. It's a provincial. The province is in charge of our healthcare system. It's not something we will do in the county. So whatever they say, that's what we could do. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. Janice? Any comment?
Yeah, I do. I just think it's really sad that it's caused such a divide in our community. It's sad. You look at Facebook and there's, people knocking everybody. What I believe in is freedom of choice, and accepting whatever choice you make. That doesn't make you lesser of a human being. And I agree with Glenn, you leave it to the health experts. They will mandate what's best for people. But I support freedom of choice. People just be kind out there. You don't know what people are going through, and you're not walking in their shoes. So yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Janice. Dale? Any comment?
I pretty much second everything that Janice says. I don't think it's right to have to make people vaccinate. I don't think that's right to force that upon people myself. I think it should be your choice. And yeah, it's not up to us anyway. That's on the provincial level what they're gonna do. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Wendy?
I completely agree with Dale. I think that it's important the County of St. Paul follows our provincial protocols and the guidance that's been given. It seems to be ever changing, and I think we just need to rely on the larger governance structure. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
I would definitely not support any form of mandatory vaccination protocol for employees or staff. That is, your health is your decision, is your choice. You are responsible for it. And you, as with anything, you gather the most expert information from those you trust and those you seek services, whether it be doctors, nurses, whatever the case may be, and then you make your decision as to whether you get vaccinated. The narrative around this issue since day one has been contradictory, and I think one of the things that I would say that's maybe a little bit different than what everybody said to date is that I would take a position that we should push back a little bit on the provincial government as they are downloading implementation and responsibilities, things like vaccine passport, although they don't want to call it that, at community centers, to municipalities to implement or enforce or decide upon, where that is not proper for us to be put in that position. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Kevin?
Yeah, that's a very good question they've asked, and I tend to leave that to the provincial government and AHS to make their decisions, whether I'm for or against. That's nor here nor there. I think it's AHS's responsibility, and we'll just see it forward as it comes.
Sorry. Thanks, Kevin. Mark?
Yes, you do have the right not to get vaccinated, but you don't have the right to infect somebody else. I don't get this, like the county's lost man hours over this. Things haven't gotten done because of this. And I don't know, it takes somebody smarter than me to make that decision. But when it comes to public safety, everything counts, including your health. That's all I gotta say. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Carol?
I agree with what everybody else is saying. Like, it is the government and AHS's responsibility, not council and the county, to decide to tell the employees that yes, you have to get vaccinated. But it comes down to choice, but we all do have a personal responsibility to keep each other safe, our families safe. Thank you.
Albert?
Let me just say this, I am vaccinated and I would wish people would choose to be vaccinated. There seems to be two camps here. The people who are vaccinated are pushing the other people who don't wish to be vaccinated. And the people who don't wish to be vaccinated are trying to coerce other people to do the same. If that would stop, maybe we'd be better off. Thank you.
Thanks, Albert. Ross?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you know, it's been a difficult year and a bit for everybody. I think what I will say is we need to be aware of the effects. Like, how do we have a collaborative democratic system where people are invested and feel part of the process if we're coercive? Or what are the effects of being coercive on the overall process and how people feel about the system and feel about our society? Because fundamentally we are a community first. But I mean, again, as people have mentioned, this is provincial jurisdiction. We can advocate for people, but you know, at the end of the day, we can't unilaterally contravene provincial requirements, whatever side of the fence you're on.
Thanks, Ross. Linda, last word on this one.
I kind of agree with what everybody has said out there. I think health is not the responsibility of a municipality. We're just, you know, we're just responsible to do what the province mandates, and you know, and I definitely support choice and stuff. So like I said, I think the county, when we were ordered to work from home, handled it very well at the beginning, and we disinfected, we wore masks when we were in, you know, close proximity to each other, and I think everything went well. So that's my comment.
Darn mute button. Okay, so given that this question is coming up as September 30th approaches, I'm going to direct, this question's directed at the Reeves first. So I'll have Glenn comment first and then Yvonne. How will you work to implement the calls to action in the 2015 Truth and Reconciliation Report that relates to municipal governments and their relationships with Indigenous peoples? Glenn?
Yeah, you know, I haven't went through that report. I don't really know what it is, but like I say, you know what, I think we need to be respectful to all peoples. There's, you know what, our country is made up of many, and we need to be respectful of all. And if we have to, if we recognize, I'm okay with it. You know, whatever province comes down with, or federally and that, yeah, I just think there's many cultures and everything else we have to be respectful for. Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. Yvonne?
Unfortunately, I also am not familiar with that report. I am familiar with the situation and everything that's happening, absolutely. And that's absolutely one of my big concerns that I had mentioned in the beginning, was communities, keeping communities involved, working together with surrounding communities, not just within our county, learning from surrounding communities and getting better and moving forward, and you know, involving everybody that supports our town and our county and all of our folks that live within it. So I think, again, communication, education, and I apologize for not being educated on that completely. But yeah, it's just not something that I really looked into at this point. But it's communication, and it's staying strong, it's communicating with all avenues and all different ways of life in our world, and we need to work together.
Thanks, Yvonne. Just randomly here, I will go to Dale next.
Yeah, on this, I know different municipalities are like about this Truth and Reconciliation Day are going about this differently. Some are giving everybody the day off. Other ones are taking courses on truth and reconciliation. I know at the county, what we decided to do is people were coming into work and they're taking turns, and they're going to be watching a movie on everything that happened in the residential schools. So at least that way, like there's somebody could just get a day off and nobody will learn about anything, but this way at least they're coming into work and they're going to learn about truth and reconciliation, what it's all about, and we all got to work together and get over this. It's going to take some time, but together we'll all get through it. Thanks.
Thanks, Dale. Janice?
Hi there. you know how I see it is knowledge is power. And a lot of the people that spoke before are not really familiar with it. So I think what we need to do is we need to educate people. And I mean, not just our staff, our community members at large. And then we can move forward and we can become a unified community, not just like everybody. We need to partner with everybody that's within our municipalities, that's Saddle Lake, all of them. We need to partner with them. I remember when the pandemic hit, you know, I phoned Saddle Lake Healthcare and I said, look, we have these signs that you could put in people's windows if they need help. And I knew they didn't have time to make that. So they were so happy that I offered that to them. They came right away and picked them up. And it's all about knowledge, understanding, and then we move together as a community as a whole.
Thanks, Janice. Johnny?
So around 20 to 30% of my work is east of our point in Frog Lake and Fishing Lake. I got a lot of respect for what we're doing out there. I have a very well working relationship with them. And I gotta say, I wish that that could be expanded, and that would be one of the things that I would definitely work on. There's a lot of values out there. There's a lot of work, a lot of manpower out there. And we definitely have to work with them east and west of our county.
Thank you, John. Ross?
Ross Krakowski, Division 3. Yeah, look, we need more voices at the table. Our society is better. We're all stronger when there's a diversity of voices that are heard, are listened to, are believed, are accepted and respected. And I mean, you know, practically speaking, it's about victim programs, implementing UNDRIP, supporting the investigation of residential school cemeteries. Education is just absolutely huge. And I mean, there's so many things we can do, right? And as I keep saying, it's about diversity of views, collaboration, listening. You know, these are all fundamental democratic values that are important to everybody for all sorts of reasons.
Thanks, Ross. Albert?
Well, I think there are things happening. You see professional sports teams wearing orange. I think to a lot of people, maybe we're not moving quickly enough. But I think slowly but surely we're going to achieve more. I'm not so certain that it'll ever be 100% to everybody's satisfaction, but I think there has to be work in that direction. Thanks.
Thanks, Albert. Carol?
I support the county on their decision to use September 30th to promote education on truth and reconciliation. I believe that it's a better way to take advantage of the day than just to have the day as a stat holiday. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Mark?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what everybody's saying. First Nations, like as I work through the county, once in a while, I'd kind of drive into the First Nations area, and the roads there are atrocious. Like their infrastructure is behind ours, like by years. And is there another thing that we can help them with, like water and stuff like that? Like if we can give them input and make them stronger, then they can help us and make us stronger too. But thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Kevin?
Yeah, again, very good question. And you know what, I would just like to add maybe that our First Nations are a very important part of our municipalities. Understanding is the key to our relationship with our First Nations, and there is still lots of work to be done. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Jim?
I guess I would say you can't change or erase history. Common sense says you can learn from it, and you can acknowledge that what was done or what was in the time isn't right. So I would look at this situation as saying you learn from the past and you go forward to do things better in the future.
Thank you, Jim. And lastly, Wendy.
So in my opinion, the outcome of the implementation of the Truth and Reconciliation document basically outlines to us the need to actively cooperate and consult with the First Nations in our area so that we can work cooperatively to a successful end. By that, I think we should also be able to share in some of our services in supporting families and children's services. But in no way does the document outline that we should dictate to them. We just need to be better active listeners. Thanks.
Thank you, Wendy.
Brent, I didn't get a chance to go either.
Oh, Linda,
That's
my
okay.
apologies.
That's all right. I think
Glad you spoke up.
I think, I do agree with what everybody's saying. And I know on Friday, the kids are wearing orange to school. And I believe further knowledge and learning would be beneficial and working with our neighboring communities. And also, I think the kids learning from at school and stuff, I think that's where we're going to really start seeing an impact as the younger generation starts learning about residential schools and all these other issues and stuff. I think it's just going to help moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Linda. As we look at the clock here, we're going to have to end our question portion here, as we need to give all of you folks a chance to give us some final remarks. So we'll go in reverse order from what we did for opening remarks. So that, by my count, puts Linda on the hot seat first. So you'll have 3 minutes to give us your final thoughts.
Thank you, Brent. I would like to thank Diane from the Chamber of Commerce, Brent and Jager for making this evening possible, and to my fellow candidates for participating in this first ever virtual County of St. Paul candidate forum, and most importantly, to you, the listening ratepayers at home. This experience has been exciting, informative, and clearly we all love this county and want to see it grow and care and preserve the things that make it special. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer your questions with as much clarity as possible and perhaps getting to know a little bit better. Elections are about choices, and whether you are voting at the advanced polls or on October 18th, you will have to make a choice about who will represent you. If elected, I promise you, the Division 3 ratepayers, to do the best of my ability to represent you with honesty, fairness, and transparency, even when it is tough. I'm committed to working to make this county the best place it can be. I would like to thank all of the Division 3 residents that I have visited so far on my campaign trail for their patience and taking time out of their busy schedules to talk with me. As I continue on my campaign trail, I hope to learn more about your challenges, concerns, and how I can best represent you. I am looking forward to this new challenge and opportunity to bring a fresh voice to the council table. I will do my homework, gather understanding, collaborate with others, and use my knowledge and experience in municipal government to make the best decision, upholding the county's mission to create a desirable rural experience. Vote for me, Linda Meager, as your qualified voice for Division 3 County Councillor. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Linda. Ross, you're on the clock.
Hey, Ross Krakowski, Division 3. I don't love tooting my own horn, so I'm not going to spend too much time. What I will say is, again, you know, it starts with listening. I am available. If I haven't spoken to you yet, I will soon. But if there is anything, please email me, you know, ross@division3.ca, call or text me 780-614-8295. You can visit my website, electrosskrakowski.ca, or facebook.com/electrosskrakowski. And look, hey, it's about being open. It's about being accessible, accountable, transparent. It's about collaboration. It's about smart, strategic decision-making, publicly available information and policies, efficiency, fairness, respect for taxes. It's about doing better. It's about a whole lot of hard work. And of course, above all, it's about love for family and for community.
Great. Thank you, Ross. Louis. No, sorry, Albert.
Thanks. Some of the concerns that I came across in my campaign were, and I'm going to go through this very quickly, are roads and heavy loads. You know, it's always a struggle to maintain roadways to match the increasing heavy equipment traffic. When it comes to finances and budgeting, I forgot to mention that it's important to set priorities. You can't always meet them, but if you have them itemized and you deal with the more important ones, eventually I think we'll come through. Human resources is another one. You know, happy people are always more productive. And, you know, I strongly believe that as the county goes, so goes the division, and vice versa. When we make the whole unit stronger, each part benefits. You know, a lot can be accomplished when one just rolls up his sleeves and gets his hands dirty. In closing, allow me to thank Mr. Steve Upham, Mr. Cliff Martin, and Mr. Amiet for their many years of service. You have contributed a great deal for the next council to build on. And I'd like to wish luck to every candidate. Thank you.
Thanks, Albert. Carol.
Over the next 4 years, residents need strong representation on council for our community. I believe in working collaboratively with partners and stakeholders to improve the quality of life for all residents. I am committed to acting on your issues in council. I will actively contribute to the county and advocate for the needs of residents for the entire 4-year term. Let's make change together. On October 18th, vote for Carol Reeves, your voice for our community. Thank you and good night.
Thanks, Carol. Mark.
Yes, this is Mark Marcoux from Division 3. Marcoux, yeah, you damn right, it's Marcoux. I want to be your next counselor. I want to do things properly. I want to represent everybody. I live in the center of the division, and I will not separate north from south. Everybody seems to think that it goes from one end to the other. Well, I'm going to do like one of my predecessors did, and I want to represent everyone. I ran a grader in this area. I know where the rocks are in the roads. I know where things need to be done, where there's drifting issues, where there's washboard issues, and where there's dust issues. And I will take care of this for you, and I will make sure the county is run right and responsibly. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Kevin.
Yes, good evening again. Thank you, Vitek, Brett, Diane, for giving us this opportunity to speak here tonight. It has been my honor and privilege to serve the community, and I hope to continue serving. I'm proud to call County of St. Paul my home. I have the ability to communicate, be an effective listener, and I have an ability to bring people together to create viable and innovation solutions. I would like to apply my knowledge and experience to the County of St. Paul to keep continuity and put together a viable strategic plan for the future of the county and assist in this implementation. I want to see taxpayers receive more value for their tax dollar. I'm not running because I'm looking for a career change or because I'm semi-retired or I have the time. I'm running because I'm passionate about the future of this county and I want to make a difference, the right difference. Thank you and good night.
Thanks, Kevin. Jim.
Thank you. Thank you to the Chamber and ITEC for providing this forum. I want to say that I stand for common sense decision makings, county providing core services in the most efficient manner, meaning that we have to ensure that we stay in our lane. I think the next 4 years we will have issues from all other levels coming to our doorstep, and understanding that we must ensure that we respect our ratepayers. We provide those services that we're responsible to those ratepayers, and we remember that we work for you, the ratepayer. I think one issue that wasn't touched upon, that isn't particularly a municipal issue, but I just want to highlight because it overlays some of the things that we discuss day to day, just like this Zoom meeting. Rural internet cell service, the last mile is disastrous in many places in our county, as well as in rural Alberta. I think any actions as a municipality that we can do to encourage that be rectified would contribute to a better life in our county. Internet service, I think, is becoming almost an infrastructure issue, like gas, power, water, things like that. I think the county is in good shape. Let's keep it that way. I ask for your vote on October 18th in Division 2. Elect Jim Kiss. I will be around the division completely if I can. You are able to contact me, text or email jimkiss17@gmail.com, 587-986-8876. Text, because my cell service on my farmyard doesn't work all the time. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Jim. Wendy.
I would like to take the opportunity to thank the St. Paul and District Chamber of Commerce for organizing this forum. This platform has provided a great opportunity for the exchange of ideas and discussion among candidates, and hopefully outside of this arena. Strong and open lines of communication between landowners and elected officials have been a significant focus for me today and into the future. In the days ahead, I will continue to spend my time in Division 6, visiting with residents, adding notes to my ongoing issues and concerns list that I've developed to capture the list of critical infrastructure locations and concerns being expressed. I'll very probably be enjoying the beautiful fall colors that this division has to offer. I am Wendy DeHod, and I am a candidate for councillor in Division 6. Together, we can make Division 6 a great place to live, work, farm, and raise a family. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. Dale.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening in tonight. Hopefully everybody liked the answers they got, and I just want to let everybody know that I'm here. My phone is always on. Everybody knows that. My ratepayers know that. I've had phone calls all the time. Can't get a hold of me by phoning me. You can always text me. I'll be in meetings. I'm still on my phone texting ratepayers at the same time, even if they have issues. I want to continue working for the ratepayers of Division 5. I've had a strong relationship with them. People have phoned me wanting stuff done, we've got stuff done. People didn't want the MG30 in front of their houses. We didn't put the MG30 down in front of their houses. I just want to keep on going. The county's a better place than it was 4 years ago, I believe, as far as public works and all that stuff. We're growing, we're getting better, and there's a lot more work to do. And I want to keep on working for everybody to make the county of St. Paul the best county in Alberta to live in. And I think we're pretty close to there already. Driving around, seeing other municipalities, we got a beautiful county here. We got the most beautiful place in Alberta, I believe. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Thank you, Dale. Janice.
Hi, I'd like to thank the St. Paul Chamber and ITEC for putting on this forum, and to all the viewers who took time out of your busy schedule to watch this. Much appreciated. On October 18th, or at the advanced polls, go vote. This is your chance to be heard, people. You know that I'm approachable, transparent, and accountable. Division 3, if you want a strong advocate with integrity and extensive governance experience, vote for me, Janice Vodchuk. If you have any questions, feel free to call me at 780-210-5446 or email me at janicevodchuk@me.com. To my fellow candidates, it was great to get to know some of you that I didn't, and I wish you all the luck in the world, and the people will decide. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Janice. Johnny. Johnny, you're up.
Okay, here we go again. So I'm running for council in Division 2. I feel I can change, I can bring something new to the table. I have been running a business for 22 years in this Division 2, reasonably successful in my own point of view. I'm a true believer of that we can improve our livelihood and our life in the county and in special Division 2. We need to get our hospitals better service on that. I will be a big spokesperson for that. We need to drop our crime. That will be another big thing. So vote for me will be a vote for looking into the future, get some business set up, and get the crime down and get our hospitals back in service. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. Yvonne.
Thanks. So first off, I'd like to thank, hopefully, can everybody hear me really good? I've been having messages sent to me that I've not heard. Okay, awesome. Glad things are working better. First off, I'd like to thank everybody that participated in the forum. Thank you for asking the questions. Thank you for asking for our honesty and responses to your concerns. Thank you, all of the candidates, for your responses and your honesty, and good luck to each and every one of you. Thank you to the residents that I have been able to visit with so far. St. Paul is a big county, guys. I've put on a lot of miles already, and it's big. It's time consuming for sure, but I have enjoyed every single visit that I've had. I haven't caught everybody at home, but those that I do, great conversations. Looking forward to following up with some of the concerns that have been brought to me, compiling those issues, learning from everybody that's out there of where the county needs to go and what we can do to make it better for our ratepayers. They are our clients. As a council, they are our clients, and we need to work for them. And I think it's really important that we do that. I look forward to getting out in the other divisions and meeting everybody else that I haven't met so far in the coming weeks. Time is running out, but I do plan on getting out there. So thank you, and look forward to doing that. I've had some great support out there and amazing conversations. So thank you, everybody. Obviously, one of the number, I think I mentioned it earlier, one of the number one concerns from the folks that I've talked with so far is roads. I think that's always going to be the number one concern, right? So I look forward to collaborating with the council for better ways that we can move forward. Whether I'm elected or not, I still want these issues to be looked at. This is still our county. I'm a ratepayer. I'm a county resident. We want our people in our county to be happy and surrounding areas to be happy when they come into our county. And I think it's really important that some of these concerns get looked into. One thing I didn't get a chance to touch on was the policies. I missed the tail end of that question because I didn't make notes on it, of course, but I think we've come a long way with policies. I think we have a long way to go, and I am passionate about that kind of stuff. Setting up procedures are crucial in order to clarify what's needed so that consistency can be obtained. It's crucial to have that information ready to go. I will push for counselors to be accountable, visible within their divisions and to the residents, two-way communication, and to never quit building those relationships. We all need to work together, build each other up, educate ourselves as best as possible, and make informed decisions. If I get elected, I promise to be dedicated, accountable to the entire county, work on controlled spending, meetings with purpose. If we don't have a purpose, shouldn't be going and charging money back to the ratepayers. Back to basics, transparency. And I'm out of time. Hey, I strongly believe that I have what is required to have a high level of desired professionalism to the county as the Reeve. And I thank everybody for participating. Thank you to the chamber for putting this all on and making it all possible. Fun time. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Thanks, Yvonne. And Glenn, I'll give you the last word tonight.
Good evening. In closing, I'd like to thank the St. Paul District Chamber of Commerce for hosting this forum tonight. The ratepayers of the County of St. Paul have an opportunity to say who the next Reeve of the County of St. Paul is. How was I prepared for this? A longtime counselor, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge him and remember him, Frank Sloan. Frank was a longtime counselor, 27 years, I think. Frank was a fair and respected counselor in his community, wasn't just as a counselor, as a neighbor and everything else. I learned lots from Frank. I learned how to handle myself. Incredible man with numbers, budgeting, memory, but he had the personal touch. He cared. And like when I first started counselor, I was fairly young. Frank taught me lots. So you know what? I just, we lost Frank here after the last county election, and that. So I just thought it was fair to tell you why I was doing this. But I'll get back to my speech there. The aspects of this position are time, experience, and comprehension of the Municipal Government Act. And I have all of those. It's important to keep the County of St. Paul moving forward for the future of the next generation. We need to make sure our youth are willing to come back and raise their families here. It's not just about roads. It's about creating a place where people want to live, raise their families, have a community hall, gather with neighbors, keep our agriculture community viable, our volunteer active and excited, and people who call the County of St. Paul home and proud to call it home. I don't need a job. I want to do what is best for our municipality. I want policy and decisions in the best interest of the people within the County of St. Paul. So thank you. So on October 18th, I ask you for your support. Good night.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. Thank you to all the candidates for participating tonight. Those who couldn't had good reason. To our viewers, I have been assured that if you do watch the recorded version of this, you won't have the sound problems that we may have had at the beginning. There was some time lag between our voices and our lips moving. So we expect that the recorded version of this will be available on the iTech through the iTech site. It'll also be available on the county website, and it will be available on the chamber website. we're hoping early tomorrow that'll be available. I do want to, again, a huge shout out to Jagger at iTech Solutions. Thank you for your help tonight. And although I'm sure you were scurrying behind the scenes. To my helpers, I had Diane and Pam here from our board helping us and trying to keep me on track. So I thank you to them. And once again, get out, vote on the 18th, vote in the advance polls. Let's keep this county strong. Let's keep this area strong and moving forward. So thank you, everybody. And with that, we will sign off.